The Hartley Show is a comic book review program and does not own any of the copyrighted material featured in this episode. All copyrighted material featured will be used as fair use for the purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, and/or research. Taki.
Today on The Hartley Show, in honor of the 50th anniversary, we're going to talk about Doctor Who.
This is new up the deck.
Cool.
On Saturday, November 23rd, 1963, the BBC aired its first episode of Doctor Who titled An Unearthly Child. Now, the show was originally conceived of as an educational family program, and the idea was that they would use time travel to explore science and history, but that concept was soon abandoned for a more traditional science fiction approach. William Hartnell, 54-year-old, I believe, William Hartnell was cast as the first Doctor, the mysterious alien who, alongside with his granddaughter Susan, traveled through time and space in a device known as the TARDIS. The TARDIS stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space, and was disguised as a police box, which is essentially a phone booth that police officers use, and it was a common sight in the 1960s in London, and also, for production standpoint, also really easy to build. Now, with the show being a critical and rating success, it quickly cemented itself in a British pop culture. Unfortunately, in 1966, due to failing health, William Hartnell had to step down as the Doctor, and of course, because of the show's popularity, they had to find a way to continue on with the show, so the writers came up with the concept of regenerations, or rejuvenations, as it was originally called. The second Doctor was Patrick Troughton, and when he came in, the road was paved for future Doctors to continue on in the role as Doctor Who. Now, later on, during the Tom Baker run of the show in 1976, and Tom Baker was arguably the most popular and certainly my favorite Doctor, they came up with the concept of Time Lords only being able to regenerate 12 times.
Little known fact. While Doctor Who is considered quintessentially British, the BBC head of drama at the time who developed the show, Sidney Newman, is actually Canadian.
Now, in the 80s, interest in Doctor Who waned, ratings fell, and the BBC, although they didn't officially cancel the show, the last official show from that era, I believe was, what was that again, Troy?
December 6, 1989.
December 6, 1989. So they tried to revamp the show after that, and it never quite worked out. But in 1996, Fox Entertainment, they came up with a pilot for the show, and the idea behind that was to introduce an American audience to Doctor Who. Paul McGann was cast as the 8th Doctor, and I believe it was Eric Roberts that was cast as the Master. Now, that was a success in the UK, but the ratings in the US were horrible, so the show didn't continue on. But the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, his role as a Doctor did continue on in novels, comic strips, and audio dramas, and he actually had one of the most prolific careers as the Doctor. 17 years later, he made his second on-screen appearance in The Fantastic Night of the Doctor that was a prequel to the also fantastic Day of the Doctor, and I highly recommend you go onto YouTube and check it out.
Little known fact. The script that introduced the show's longest-running and most popular villain, the Daleks, was originally rejected because it conflicted with the no bug-eyed aliens rule.
Exterminate!
Cut to 2005, and the return of Doctor Who to television in an episode titled Rose. We were given Christopher Eccleston as the new Doctor, and he was a darker Doctor. Gone were the gaudy, elaborate costumes, the cheesy special effects and makeup, and along with the new Doctor came a new companion, Billie Piper, a British pop star whose character's name was Rose Tyler. Now, as it turns out, Eccleston wasn't terribly happy with his performance or being the Doctor, and he left the role very quickly, which shocked fans, but then along came the fantastic Dave Tennant, who took the role to new heights of popularity and introduced the Doctor to an entire new generation of fans. After him, of course, came the current Doctor, Matt Smith, who a lot of people think is the best Doctor of all time, and, of course, people like me who are fans of the old Tom Baker are a little offended by that, but he is absolutely fantastic.
Little known fact. Little known fact. 5th Doctor Peter Davison is actually the father-in-law of 10th Doctor David Tennant. Tennant married Davison's daughter Georgia Moffat after she appeared as his cloned daughter on Doctor Who.
So here we are, 50 years later, 12 Doctors in, with the 13th set to premiere in the Christmas episode, following in the footsteps of William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, John Hurt, Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, and Matt Smith.
Little known fact, the 1996 TV movie which introduced Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor was filmed right here in Vancouver. It's, bigger on the inside.
I'm extremely interested to see what Peter Capaldi brings to the role, especially since he's older than we've seen for the current Doctors. I think a little bit of age might bring a little bit of chutzpah to the role and lean back to a more traditional Doctor Who.
Geronimo!
He likes Doctor Who. Yeah. So there you have it, Doctor Who. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and a giant thanks to Taz for letting us film here, as well as the Doctor for having written the episode. See you next time.
Here!